Welcome back to Off the Thread Reds. We're a group chat of above average Reds fans. Overreact, overanalyze, keep coming back for more. We'll keep you up in real time with what's happening to our Cincinnati Reds and react to the highs and lows of being a fan of this organization. Now, there is a game going on. We got the Royals and Reds playing. We'll keep you guys updated live as it's happening. But on this episode, specifically, we're going to do a deep dive into the Threads' thoughts and feelings and reactions, and maybe a heated discussion that we had today about our Reds organization. The whole discussion is going to be about, is the Reds or are the Reds ever going to be a successful organization? We'll dive more into that. But let's do a little quick recap over this series we've had with the Reds and Royals. Boys, what are you guys' thoughts so far on this series, and kind of what's your thoughts on the series or the game going on right now?
Only takeaway is like this series is either going to go one of two ways depending on how the end of this game goes. If you lose, the series is a disaster. It already doesn't look great because of the way the first game went, but if you win, a lot of that gets forgotten. Just small recap, in game one, we threw Leon Richardson, who was DFA'd, and we also threw Brandon LeBrant, who was DFA'd. So, like, we didn't give ourselves the best chance, and a lot of that's due to Chase Burns being sick, which is okay. But positives from this series, J.J. Bleday staying hot, hit a home run first game, one of our only 2 runs. Tuesday, comeback win. We haven't said that in a very long time. And in a fashion where it was like, we weren't hitting the ball a ton. We had 5 hits or 4 hits, I believe, and 3 of those were home runs. But you end up finding a win, Blake Dunn hitting that go-ahead run in the 10th inning. And then today, Chase Burns again. What more can you say? Gave up 2 earned runs off a home run in the first inning, and since then shut down with 9 Ks through 6. He's just an animal. Blake Dunn, 2-run shot, and we have a tied ball game, 2-2 currently, with TJ Antone coming into the game.
Friend of the show, TJ Antone. I retweet everything John obviously said. We are, I would say, like 5 at bats from having arguably just a disastrous series. Just the first game is embarrassing. I don't think you should ever, if you're going to give up 9 runs to the Royals. I don't know. The Royals are pretty tough. And then yesterday being 1 hit for what 6-7 innings. Granted, it was a solo shot, but still, um, it, I think if you find a way to win this game, to John's point, you escape disaster. You find a way to lose. You look back, and this was going to be another series similar to the Nationals, where you look back and go, "How did we win 1 game, or why did we only win 1 game?" And look at TJ Antone out there trying to get the pop up and foul ground. Steve-O, 1 out or 2 outs. Sorry, I don't know. It sucks because they seem like they play down to the competition,
Yeah.
and at times, obviously, I wish they played up more against the Braves, but you have to win this game. I think you have to win this game 100%.
Yeah, I think you guys just said it best. Like Cap, you brought up like the first game of the series. After you heard Chase Burns was out, it was basically a wash. I mean, they pulled 2 guys up from AAA. They just tried to fill innings. They had that one guy throw 100 pitches just to fill as much as he can. Like, you knew that was a loss going in. And the frustrating thing is Mark, that plays off of your idea of they play down to competition. I knew for a fact as soon as Chase Burns wasn't going to be involved in that game that they're like, we're going to lose. But we're trying to bank on beating the Royals the other 2 games, which is, Royals are a bad team, but everything like that, like, you have a lot of the cards in line to take the series. But it's like, don't play down to the competition. Try and make it competitive. Try and squeeze that game out to get a sweep. That's what good organizations, good teams do. So it has been very, very frustrating, just like seeing how the Reds are approaching some of these games where their luck's not going their way.
Yeah, I agree with you in the instance of like, as soon as you see Leon Richardson starting the pitching, you see Brantley Burns picked up. You know what you're kind of getting into for that game, and it sucks. In the same breath, you look at what we have currently in the bullpen. It's like, can we really afford a full bullpen game against the Royals, or do you try and just pitch it together with those 2 and scrap together a win? Either way, I mean, just embarrassing effort, not good Monday night. By all fronts. Offensively, we looked flat. Pitching was terrible. Um, I do have a secondary question. I can't be the only one. At what portion did we just turn off the game? For me personally, it was when Brandon Liebert gave up his like third home run and we were down 6-0, 6-1. I was like, all right, I think I've seen enough. It was one of the more depressing games that I watched through 6 innings.
So I'm a sicko. I turned it off the main.
No.
I turned it off the main TV. I kept it on to see Arroyo's first major league hit. I literally kept the game on just to see his hit,
Just to
but it
watch
was on my phone. But I was
That's
watching
fair
some
play.
college. I was watching some college baseball though, baby.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you to the group chat. Our thread was electric with keeping updates. So thank you guys. I turned on some college baseball. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Country roads.
But it was so electric.
I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna make me sound like a fair weather fan. When they gave up the grand slam, I was kind of already losing some interest. But
Mark, remind me real quick, how many
that was
hits did it take to achieve a grand slam? Do we remember?
didn't it? Was it 2 or was it just the
it was
one?
one hit,
Just
and
the
3
one.
walks. One hit and
Okay.
3 walks.
And let me guess, the hit was the grand slam, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, not good, Bob. I my argument of I understand you're not going to win every game, but given that your best 2 players with Ellie and Hunter Green are out, you're in last place with the winning record. Do you really have the ability to kind of wave the white flag as early as it felt like they did?
Definitely not.
Dude, definitely not. Yeah.
Is my argument, right?
Mhm.
And if you're not going to win the game, that's fine. But is the team good enough knowing that you're going to take the next 2 for sure? Like, should you should never throw in the towel. And I felt like we were like, well, we'll get them the next 2.
And that's like not to go on a side tangent, but I think that's kind of my frustration that I've had for a couple of series with Tito, where it's like dating back to the Braves game where you bring in Marte, who was a high earned run average, high whip guy on a 1-run game against the Braves. Then this game, it feels like even before it got started, Chase Burns goes down, and you're just like, we're going to toss out these 2 and pray. Like, to me, that's not a strategy. I would rather you toss out someone who gives you a chance and can still eat up innings. I'd have to look at like who all was available arm-wise for us to do that was on the active roster. But if you looked at Brandon Lee Brandt's numbers before he came up, like it was the same as Marte for me. The moment we brought him up and tossed him in, I think I sent a text to the group where I was like, I hope he does well, but just based off the data of how he's already performing, it's not going to end well.
No. And like I think, Mark, you said it best, dude. Like, we can't throw in the white flag because we don't have room for error. Like, we can't have
No.
games like this. And I don't know, it's frustrating. And, it's baseball. It's a long season. Teams have to do this to keep pitching staff, to keep, player personnel. The one thing I will say, John, you said it earlier. It was either, I don't know if it was your message or before this, but like, we can't just keep DFAing people. Like, we can't just keep going up and down, up and down, up and down, like sending people, like, we're going to,
Musical chairs, right?
I understand, like, this year's important, but God, could you imagine down the road next year? Like, we're going to be in a pickle where we can't move people because we don't want to release. It's just I think it's a bad formula for consistent baseball in the future. So I don't know. We'll kind of see what happens. But all right, let's go ahead and move on with our episode here. For the listeners out there, people that have been with us, we do want to kind of throw something out so you guys are able to continue listening, but also kind of keep in date with what's happening here. We are free pizza, everybody,
Captain
by the way.
Hook, TJ Antone.
Just blowing it by him. Free pizza for the folks at the game, so shout out to them. So real quick, we will be trying to do some live episodes this summer. The live episodes will either be all of us in person. It's going to be the format that we normally do, but just doing it live. We'll kind of work with some different companies around the Cincinnati area, see if they can host us, but kind of keep up with our social media on that. We're going to try and push those live episodes. Hopefully, we'll try and do like once a month, trying to get together and allow you guys to experience what the thread's like in person and interacting with one another. But all right. Let's get into the theme of the episode, which is a quote from Joey. Joey's not able to attend the episode today. He has a huge day on Saturday. Shout out to Joe getting married, which is awesome. But he sent something that was, I think, eye-opening to every single one of us on here, where the Cincinnati Reds organization is breeding mediocrity. They are trying to stay 500. They're trying to keep things as consistent and easy as possible. Now, before we dive into this, I'm just going to read some stuff off, and I'd love to see your guys' reactions to it. But here are some just stats that will, make your blood boil to just hearing it. So first off, they haven't won a playoff series in 30 years. They have 5 playoff appearances, just showing up to the playoffs in 30 years. They have 19 losing seasons in the past 30 years. Their best record, which I think is personally the best team that we've experienced, was the 2012 Cincinnati Reds. They went 97-65, which is great baseball. Their draft picks have been either misses or they've been things that haven't panned out. Their farm system depth is a huge worry. And lastly, if you look at their track record, and John, you've brought this up before, their trade and free agency signings have been atrocious. So what are you guys' thoughts on all this? I know this is a loaded topic and we have some different opinions, but do you think the Reds are just trying to maintain being 500?
I mean,
this is a really sad subject.
This is
Before
terrible.
John started, this is just even just all of the PTSD of just being a Reds fan we're 29. It sucks.
The
John,
fact
take
that
it
you
away.
and I went for the exact same expression. We're just stressed, right? Like we are grabbing our heads. Like here's my thing. Here's my thing. In what world could I sit here and tell you that like not having won a playoff series in 30 years is okay for any organization? If I didn't achieve my job for 30 years straight, well, I wouldn't have had a job like 28 years ago because I would have been fired 2 years in. 5 playoff appearances in 30 years, and I mean a couple of those in just a couple years span. So like, not only do you have 5 of them, but 2 came in a 3-year span. So a lot of these years, it's 3 over the course of 27 years, 19 losing seasons in 30 years. That is as sad as it gets. I do think we are breeding mediocrity, and the fact that it is very much looking like the front office is okay with every year we land about 500. We keep things interesting through the postseason, or at least up until the postseason or a couple games before, and we either land in a wild card, which we haven't done in 25 out of 30 years, or we barely sneak in, right? And if we're being serious, one of those other playoff appearances was during COVID, so like big old asterisks don't even really count. So, yeah, Mark, I don't know about you, but breeding mediocrity, I think we're just breeding losers. Like we aren't winners. This isn't even mediocrity. This is below average.
Stinks because if you would say and a face like an overall baseball fan like conversation of some of like the best teams of all time and some of the most proud fan bases, the Reds are definitely one of them, right? That's a very like hands down. Cincinnati loves the Reds. It stings me sometimes. I don't think the Reds ownership likes Cincinnati. It's so tough looking at this. It pains me. It's very Bengals like for a little bit where they couldn't get a playoff win, but there were a lot of good seasons where the Bengals, at least tried. I just don't think they're trying. They are comfortable with knowing that the budget is $100 million. They're guaranteed $25 million of profit. We will move on to the next year and rinse and repeat. And I think that's the frustrating part is that the best record was 14 years ago and it didn't lead to anything. And if you are going to go all in on one of these teams, if you're a Kansas City Kansas City Royals fan, you have the 2016 World Series banner hanging up and you could point to something and say, we have that. You at least have equity built up. This ownership has no equity built up. Their style of trying to succeed is doable. They just can't do it. Milwaukee, Tampa, Cleveland. If you're going to play the small market team card, you're going to have to succeed in that. And you know what they don't do? They don't draft well. Look at Nick Senzel. Look at Jonathan India. Look at Dane Myers absolutely roped one. We were so close there.
Yeah. So that's what I was about to say this. Like, you know what the difference is between the Royals and the Cincinnati Reds is that the Royals draft. They produce individuals. Like, look at all of the players that are currently playing for the Royals. I mean, Bobby Witt was, everybody knew out of high school Bobby Witt was going to be Bobby Witt, but like their player development, the reason why they won that 2016 World Series was 100% player development. Yeah, I mean, they had a couple pitchers who were like, we love the Royals. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to take a team friendly deal. They had a lot of things going their way for that team, but the 2016 Royals was a Royals team. And the Reds, the frustrating thing is, like, I don't think the Reds are ever going to have a team like that. We're not going to have a 1990s Reds ever again. We're not going to have a Paul O'Neill before he makes it big and goes to the Yankees. We're not going to have a Barry Larkin who's a just Cincinnati native and he wants to play for here, so he's going to stay here. Like, the sad thing is the Reds, Suarez is the closest thing, and he's up to bat right now. Suarez is the closest thing that we have to that. So it's just really, we couldn't even get Kyle Schwarber. And that's just talking more around
And
the
that was
circle.
the unwillingness of the ownership to go the extra mile. They didn't even have to blow the deals out of the water. They just lowballed him to a point, hoping that he would take it. And even if he were to take it, they were saying if we signed for 25 million, that 25 million would have had to been, readdressed by cuts or some sort of. It wasn't like adding Schwarber to this team. It was adding Schwarber and removing X, Y, and Z. And that's not a winning mentality. That is the grounds of not mediocrity, but just overall embarrassment from an organization standpoint. And Suarez grounds out. We're going to the ninth, fellas.
Let's touch on the other sick part of this, that like the guys that we do draft well leading into draft picks and trade free agents. Like, we trade Mike Serrata, who you can't say is going to turn into what he has for the Dodgers, for Gavin Lux. But like, Gavin Lux comes in as a .3 WAR guy. Now Mike Serrata is one of the top prospects in baseball. You take Tyler Callahan, who our outfield has struggled now historically for years with not being addressed. Tyler Callahan was a top prospect as an outfielder. You trade him for a guy in Kyle Nicholas, who is DFA'd, I think he got DFA'd before June 1st. So these are the kind of things that's like the guys that you do have, you bring in and you think are going to succeed, you can't count on making it even all the way up to the majors because we try and trade them for another piece that doesn't end up panning out. The Candelarios of the world, the Treviños of the world. Who do we give up for Trevino? Fernando Cruz and I forget who else. And what did Trevino lead to? Trevino led to the DFA of Reese Hines and someone else because when he was injured, we DFA'd players. It's sickening. It's like when you really break it down, you start looking at like, man, our farm system is looking a little bit bleak right now. Like, who do you look out outside of McChrystal and Alfredo Duno and Jorge and like a couple of these guys? And there should be so many more, but we've traded them in trades that not haven't panned out, but consistently are utter failures.
Yeah, so like I kind of want to, I don't want to talk for someone else, but I know Joey kind of said his 2 cents in the group message with injuries, and I'm kind of on Joey's side when it comes to other teams have injuries. Other teams have scenarios. I mean, hell, if you look at the Atlanta Braves right now, I mean, they have a lot of injuries and they've had injuries throughout the season, players coming back, different things like that. But you know what the difference is between those teams and our team is that they have fillers. They have really good AAA guys who can, go through a week or two in the major leagues and fill a void that you might have, where the Reds farm system depth at this point, because of the way they draft, because of the way that they're approaching different things, I mean, it's struggling. I like it is very, very difficult. And now, like, I will say, like, I sent a text earlier today, so might be me eating crow on this point, but if you had Ellie De La Cruz in the lineup tonight, healthy, I think the lineup that we put out tonight's the best lineup that we could have had this whole season. So, like, again, I mean, it is a very difficult game. It's a long season. People get injured, and baseball is one of those games where you can't control everything. But I will say it is frustrating as a fan watching and knowing that other teams are able to have success still with injury and we can't. So
I won't get into the semantics of it. This year is definitely an odd year in which, like, I think it's extremely hard to prepare for with the amount of injuries we've had. But the fact of the matter is, like, Rhett Lauder had to come up and Brandon Williamson had to come up because Hunter Green and Lodolo. I understand that completely, and we had to shift already to starting pitching. But those two go down, and it's like, after Chase Petty, it gets bleak in starting pitching. Genuinely, like, you look at the names, I can't remember, there's a Dustin Davis or something Davis who's leading in strikeouts, but you probably have never heard of, and there's a bunch of names that you're just like, half of them are getting DFA'd currently, but they're like, what's going on? In relief pitching, like, we've gotten hammered. We've lost 5 of our 8 that were on the opening day roster are no longer with us that are on the IL. But some of the people that have come back have filled in. But when it comes to our AAA guys, outside of TJ Antone, and I'm probably forgetting some others that have plugged in, like, we don't have a ton of names that we can work through. We don't have a ton of names that we can bring up. And we've already tapped a lot of our AAA. And once again, it is not even it's 3 days into June.
3rd.
It's June 3rd.
It's horrible.
If you were to look right now for a AAA arm, like, sure, you can make it shake and you can do the whole musical chairs and bring up one or the other, but Connor Phillips, you have to rely on him coming up and performing, which he's shown is hot and cold in the major leagues right now. Like, it all leads to, yes, if you have the mass injuries that we have currently with the AAA and farm system we currently have, it doesn't matter what you did in the offseason.
Yeah,
We brought
yeah.
in JJ Bleday, Lowe, Suarez, and a heaping of arms, and it didn't matter.
I'm going to be honest. At this point, it's like bring up that kid from Chattanooga who had like 13 strikeouts and just put
Yeah.
him in the bullpen, let him pitch an inning. Because like I feel like that's what we're doing. We're just
And if
pulling
Chase
guys up.
Petty is healthy right now, he should be in some aspect helping. I don't know how or where, and I know you don't want to throw a guy that's supposed to be a starter in the bullpen, but dude, our bullpen is treading water and drowning slowly. I don't know. Mark, give me some thoughts.
It's funny is like the slide that's up. It's wild that an organization can do all of this without like pointing to like an area with a positive note, right? If your farm system's bad, is it means you've had some sort of success recently because you sold the farm system and you went all in and you made it far into the playoffs, or you won a couple divisions, or they've graduated and they're on the big league roster and they're succeeding. And that's not the case for the Reds whatsoever, right? The only prospects that you can say have been promoted or graduated that have absolutely killed it is Chase Burns at the current moment, and Sal Stewart, I guess. But Chase Burns was the second overall pick. Like that, they were gifted Chase Burns. It wasn't like he was a mid pick and they were just absolutely doing it was the second overall pick, first pitcher off the board in a loaded draft class. And that's kind of rare for baseball too. Is a lot of those guys are succeeding too. So like even if they didn't pick Chase Burns, they might have just lucked into someone else. It's so frustrating because if the farm system's this depleted, they weren't willing to make trades when the farm system was quote unquote loaded, when they were unwilling to move Senzel and India and McLean and all these guys because it was, we're going to be so good here soon. And that was what kind of was fed to the fan base too, right? That was something that, we could hang our heads up knowing that the Reds will be a very good baseball team for more than a season. And I just don't know if that's like how they're currently developed and their limits from who they're able to bring up. And also too, they haven't shown the ability to go out and sign a free agent of any like caliber. I mean, you got Suarez back on a 1-year deal because you've known him for so
Yeah.
long.
He loves,
Nathaniel Lowe
he loves the Reds. That's literally why they got him.
That was
Yeah.
it. And I'm sure he didn't get a huge market out there either. So I think it was mutual, right? Lowe and Bleday, I think, are just kind of dumb luck at this point. I think they just panned out for what it was worth. But Candelario, Moustakas, I know you had some luck with Castellanos, but it just seems like they can't succeed in any area, whether it's trades, whether it's free agency, drafting, developing. They're not going to sell the team. The Kesslings will never sell this team, but I think they're arguably the worst owner in baseball, and there's some bad owners in baseball.
Yeah. And again, we can talk in circles about this, but I think you just hit it perfectly. They are unsuccessful in the 3 major ways to have a successful organization. They aren't drafting correctly unless it's handed to them. They don't have a strong farm system, and their free agency and pickups and trades haven't worked out. Like I don't know if you could write it up a better way of making an unsuccessful organization happen. So like again, it is frustrating. I don't know what's more frustrating. Did Tony Santillan just do something bad?
I'm just,
He mi-
I wonder, like, I was wondering in my head, and while you guys were talking, I was doing a little research on our bullpen usage. Because I would have thought we would have learned our lesson about Tony Santillan in high leverage situations. Not saying that you shouldn't put him into it if it's not dire straits, which this case, it is kind of dire
It
straits.
is, yeah.
But, like, I think he just is struggling this year, and something that would help him is maybe using him in a little bit lower leverage situation, but we don't have that affordability currently.
Yeah.
And the only two pitchers who
He-
didn't pitch yesterday
he
are like
does-
Luis May, Tony Santillan, Caleb Ferguson.
He does not
But
have
there
anything in
goes
his,
the lead,
in his.
dude.
it's just,
He,
I mean,
he just give up a hit?
yeah.
In case you're wondering, I said all of that before the hit happened because I don't know. I don't even want to take a victory lap on something like that because I want the Reds to win. But it's just like when you see him come in the bottom of the ninth, and he has been blowing saves left, right, and center since Pagan's gone down. Unfortunately, I just don't understand why you put him in that situation.
All right.
Unless our usage for the bullpen yesterday was as bad as it was.
I just turned the TV off, guys.
They did.
It's off.
It looks like they did execute a hit. Not that it matters, but
Joey just texted us.
I'm sure that was related to the. I assume that's related to
Just ouch.
the,
That's what
the,
it says.
the one
yeah.
run that was just given up.
You know what the most frustrating thing about that at-bat was? Not that Santillan didn't have anything in his bag that could strike out Massey, who's a below-average hitter, is on 0-2, they attempt to pick off at second base with an inside or with a quick timing pickoff. That means you don't trust your pitcher. That's 100% what that means. If you are picking
And you
off
go from
0-2
0-2
to
3-2.
second base, that means you do not trust the pitcher to get out at home. If I was a coach, I would be sitting there saying, 0-2, it's all you. Don't worry about that base runner. Get the out at home. They don't trust him. Like, that's bad baseball.
Never mind. I think I know what the ouch is about.
And home run.
Oh my God, we're so bad. All right, hey, we
I'm
need to
glad
keep going
that
with this
we
episode.
caught
It's
this
never going to end.
live.
It's never
I
going
mean,
to end. This is so bad.
I don't care if it does. You cannot. I don't know who can I point fingers at. I don't know who you bring in this situation, but there is no way you can convince me that with the way he has pitched this season, that you're in a 2-2 must-win game series winner against the frickin' Royals, and you go, that's our guy. Let's do it. And for what it's worth, you're facing bottom of the lineup Royals. You're not facing Bobby Witt and the fellas. You're facing Thomas Massey and whoever the hell else is being pitched to right now. And you can't get it done.
Oh, guys. All right. Well,
It stinks too because you burned another awesome start by Chase Burns too, right? And that's like the
Yeah.
stat was like the only games we can currently win are starts by Chase Burns and Abbott or whatever. And I guess now starting to show signs of Lodolo, but I mean Ferguson comes in, Anton comes in, and they put you in a position where you've only given up. So Santillan's given up 3 of the 8 hits in just 1/3 of an inning. That's just it's tough, and I don't know who you throw out. Like, who would you throw out in this situation? You could press the rewind button in the ninth. Who are you doing? Like, who are you sending out there?
Unfortunately, we used 5 of our pitchers yesterday, and the only pitcher who didn't pitch yesterday was Ferguson and Luis May, I believe. So Luis May, I believe, was the only other fresh arm you had. Because I did look at it and like mull through 30-something pitches, and other pitchers were used yesterday between the 18 to 20-something pitch range. But my God, like, if this doesn't just lend its hand into everything we've talked about not being able to, like, Santillan's had a type of season that I'd like to believe that a lot of our teams are saying, we have a AAA guy who can come up. Santillan's a good enough guy that we can put him down. He'll figure it out and we'll bring him right back up. But we just don't have that luxury. We're going to probably toss him out here in another high leverage situation a couple nights. And ladies and gentlemen, when you do see it, you'll be praying just like I will. And your prayers probably won't be answered because we're from Cincinnati and we're Reds fans.
Cincinnati. Yep. We're from Cincinnati, Ohio. Hey, the Lord gives the toughest situations to the people who care the most. And that's what I think about Cincinnati. All right. We just care. That's all it is. That's all it is. All right, here we go. Roster updates. We got to keep this episode going. I feel like we're just killing ourselves on this thing.
I might put my head down.
All right, John,
we're going into roster updates at this point, but this is the best part of recording while the game's going on because it can go off the rails like this. You just never know. This does lend its hand perfectly into roster updates because we've made a lot of roster updates in the past couple of days, enough so that it's filling my screen just for the month of June. So we'll start with June. 3 days.
3 days.
We'll start with June 1st, where there was a ton of excitement. The Cincinnati Reds, the Cincinnati Royals. I'm losing my mind.
The Cincinnati Royals are probably better than the Cincinnati Reds at baseball. John, I can't even believe you fit all of this in a slide. I can't even read this. I'm glad you're saying this out loud because I can't read how small this font is.
It's funny you say that. Typically, my font on roster updates is sitting between the 16 to 18 region. We are on font 11.
Yeah.
So we're low, but we've got June 1st, the Cincinnati Reds recalled shortstop Edwin Arroyo from the Louisville Bats. A lot of people are very excited about this. He did come up after having a skid down in Louisville offensively, which is always nerve-wracking. Like, he had to be brought up during a 5 of 30 in his past 7-game skid. But we hope that he plays well, can stay up here, contribute, especially with McLean not playing his best so far this year. But also on 6-1, shout out Yunor Marte, who was designated for assignment. You all may remember him. He came up this year for 0.1 inning where he gave up 4 earned runs against the Braves in a 1-run game.
Huge leverage.
Huge leverage.
Yeah.
On 6-2, the Cincinnati Reds recalled right-hand pitcher Luis May from the Louisville Bats. They also selected the contract of right-handed pitcher Zach McCambley from Louisville Bats. We did designate for assignment Brandon Liebrandt, who came in. He gave us 100 pitches. Tip of the cap. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
We also designated for assignment Leon Richardson. Once again, tip of the cap. We'll see you later. And good news we will touch on. Rhett Lauder is on a rehab assignment currently with the Louisville Bats. And with our upcoming series, there is a TBD pitcher spot. We will talk about that a little bit further. On 6-3, the Cincinnati Reds sent Yunor Marte, who was DFA'd, but no one picked up, back to the Louisville Bats. The Cincinnati Reds optioned today center fielder TJ Friedl to the Louisville Bats, someone that, we were a big fan of here, but we did ask for greener pastures, and they have been received. And then also today, corresponding move to TJ Friedl, the Reds recalled outfielder Noelvi Marte from the Louisville Bats. With those roster updates, a lot of mumbo jumbo, but the big things that I want to take away is TJ Friedl being sent down, Noelvi Marte coming up, Edwin Arroyo coming up in the instance of Philly's injury. And
perfect time.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, hold on real quick. We actually have a guest call in. We were not expecting this one, so we are extremely excited to kind of hear what this person has to bring. Jerry from Pleasant Ridge. Jerry, thanks for joining us.
Is Jerry still
howdy there, fellas. Is John still living in Candyland tonight? This team sucks. They suck.
Hey, Jerry, I don't think you and I disagree that the current version of the Cincinnati Reds that is 2/3 injured is not performing well. I think they do indeed not have a good squad currently.
You sound like all my brothers and my uncles and everyone in this city who just thinks, it's always the injuries. It's this, it's that. No, the ownership sucks. The team sucks. Organization from top to bottom is terrible. And you want to make excuses for these guys? It's been 30 years, John. 30 years.
Jerry, you'll hear me talk about it earlier, but we're not making excuses. The past 30 years has sucked, and it can't be acceptable. But you have to be able to not let that cloud your judgment over a single season when you go out and get a couple.
They don't deserve the right, John. They don't deserve the right to get out free because 1 year there was a bunch of injuries. I'm not saying you're completely wrong, John, but they don't deserve that right. I want for 5 years, Wes Miller didn't make the NCAA tournament. You can ask my man Mark here. As Bearcat fans, okay, at the end of the day, he didn't win for 4 years. So in year 5, when all the injuries pile up, you don't have the right to claim injuries. You had 4 years. But in this standpoint, they've had 30 years. 30 years, John. That's older than all of us. 30 years.
Disagree in the fact that like they can't be afforded the right, but as a fan I'll at least acknowledge that like this team, if they were even semi-healthy, I think we're still talking about a wild card. Now on your point, you can't afford them the right. Some fans shouldn't. Some fans should be pissed. I'm pissed. Everybody should be. I just had to watch Tony Santillan give up a dinger off a meatball like I have like 7 times this year. Mark, do you have anything for Jerry? I mean, Jerry's a little grumpy. Can you talk to him?
I 100% agree with you, Jerry. I think this is just such an embarrassment to the city, a city that prides itself being a baseball town, and they're happy with Grogu bobbleheads and Harry Potter wands. They're not in the business of being a baseball team. They're in the business of just being entertainment, not even good entertainment. They're losing 5-2 to the Royals, and it's going to get worse. So there's 2 on, 2 out in the ninth. Runners on the corner, and they've wasted so many players' career. Joey Votto, they're going to trade Ellie. They're going to say trust the process. We get a haul for him. They're going to just do this every year and then point the finger and say that the sport's unfair because there's no salary cap and other teams have more resources. But in reality, they just choose not to invest more into this team, and the city shouldn't invest into it until the ownership does.
So
I completely agree with you, Mark. And the only thing you forgot was they also love to promote Rocket the Raccoon Night from
You got that.
Adventures,
My bad.
from Guardians of the Galaxy. Rocket Raccoon. They love Rocket Raccoon Night. It's a huge hit for the kids down there. I mean, they get lots of attendance because of it. It's one of the most attended games of the year.
And I love a little, like, John Pardee, love a little country music. Can we get maybe a couple more, if they're going to give us a couple post-game concerts, can we, just add a couple, heavy hitters to it if they're going to just use that as, a way to get.
If we're gonna suck and we're gonna pay all that money for all them bobbleheads, can't they spend a few more bucks on like Luke Combs? I like what you're going with this, Mark.
Fellas,
if you're gonna be entertainment,
was Shaq not good enough for you last year?
They are not. Listen, they're not in the baseball business, fellas. They're in the entertainment business.
all right,
It's all about making money for them fellas over there in Cincinnati.
So Jerry,
Kirby plays on my nephew's softball team, and last night my nephew texted me and said Kirby was back in when they won the game. He doesn't look like he's back in right now.
no.
Kirby
I am
turned
not.
off the game.
I am not. I turned off the game. So Jerry, I just want to say a couple things. So first off, go Diamond Dogs! Great Blue Ash League baseball or softball team. Currently in first. Let's keep it going, Diamond Dogs. But on a real note, the Reds. I just want to read a couple things off to you, Jerry. And you probably already know this. The listeners have heard it. But I want to read it off so we understand kind of where the Reds are as an organization. We haven't won a playoff series in 30 years. We have only 5 playoff appearances in 30 years, Jerry. And we have 19 losing seasons in the past 30 years. Our best record, which was 2012, which was 97-65, which I think is actually one of the best Reds teams they've had. You could put them top 5 best Reds teams. I actually think so. But they're trying to put together an organization that keeps baseball here in Cincinnati rather than winning baseball. And I think we all have talked about it. We've all agreed on it. But Jerry, I have one huge question for you. Do you think the Cincinnati Reds are going to be here forever? Or do you think the Cincinnati Reds need new ownership, need a new location, and they need to leave?
Well, that's a good question. I think they need new ownership more than anything in the world. I'd say that first and foremost. I just think their ownership just lacks the ability and lacks the drive to win. They just don't care about winning. They care more about convincing John that injuries are piled up, and they like to convince John about Rocket Raccoon, get your bobblehead, get some free ice cream cones on a Tuesday night. That's what they like. They need new ownership. I hate to say it. I think the Castellinis, I think deep down, I think they're good people. I don't even know the Castellinis. I'm sure they're good people. They're just not good at running a baseball organization, and that's okay. Some of us can be good people and not be good at our jobs. They're good in the business world, but they ain't good at running a baseball team. And the best thing they're good at is convincing folks like John to keep coming back to the ballpark for Rocket Raccoon Night because there's injuries. And if there weren't injuries, we'd be in playoff contention for a World Series, according to John. So it's just disappointing that people like John want to continue to come out here and act like, nothing's wrong, just injuries.
Jerry,
If it wasn't, we would probably win 5 World Series the last 30 years if it wasn't for injuries, according to John.
Jerry, I gotta give Jerry two things here. First and foremost, as I've said and stated before, this team has not performed for 30 years. They have not. World Series, we're just hoping for playoffs right now as fans. That's how sad and decrepit it is in Cincinnati. But I think the difference being I will not let what I believe this season was going to be maybe a wild card playoff spot before injuries derailed it. I won't let the past 30 years derail my judgment of what I think the current season will have. But I think you and I agree that there's not many teams you can look at over the past 30 years that were competitive, nonetheless playoff contenders. I do have a curveball for you that's not baseball related, but I do know you're quite the snacker, you're quite the food enthusiast. And last week we talked about something on the show that I'd love to get your take on. If you are at a backyard barbecue, what are your top 3 side dishes at that backyard barbecue? And what is your go-to summer beverage?
That is a great question, John. I'm glad that we can come together in the spirit of food to get away from the injury conversation.
Sir,
but
we're
what I would
breaking
say,
bread. We are breaking bread.
what I would say, my 3 best side dishes at a barbecue. Is that correct? That's the right question?
Cookout, barbecue, whatever you
Mhm.
want to imagine, the meat's being cooked. How are you going to have the sides there?
Well, I'm sitting right here next to Cheryl, my sweet wife Cheryl. I would like to figure out what Cheryl probably thinks. But I think I'm gonna go outside the realm here. Give me a second here. I mean, what did Mark say for his 3 side dishes? Am I allowed to ask what other people said?
So, listen, Mark wasn't on the last episode, I don't believe. It was Dylan, myself, Joey, and Kirby, and it was really just classic summer dishes. We had some pasta salad answers. We had some watermelon. So I'm just looking for some insight here, man. I've seen the way that you eat at a cookout, and you don't leave much space on the plate. I need to know what you're putting on that plate.
All right. What about I got baked beans? Jerry loves him some baked beans. I love me some baked beans. That is a hell of a dish at a backyard barbecue. Did anyone put baked beans? You guys are
Yeah,
younger. I don't know if y'all love the baked beans.
We did.
We
we
had a
did.
baked beans. We
Mhm.
had a baked beans.
Man, I love that. Did Schroeder put down baked beans?
He did.
That was our baked beans guy, was Schroeder.
Love that from Schroeder. It's a Schroeder move. The St. X grad getting some baked beans in him.
Jerry, did we lose you?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm here.
Oh,
I mean,
okay, okay.
I'm just thinking, fellas. I'm old. Remember that.
Sorry.
Remember that. What about them little hot dog wieners? You guys like them?
Oh, yes, pigs in a blanket.
little-
Pigs in a blanket.
Little
Yeah, okay.
little pigs in a blanket. That ain't
Yeah.
never hurt. That ain't never hurt nobody. I mean, I love me some sweet potato casserole too, fellas. But sweet potato casserole is more of a Thanksgiving dish. I think.
I agree
What do
with
you
that.
think about that?
I
So
agree with that.
I would probably. I mean, can I pick a dessert of some sort?
Well, yeah.
Jerry, you drive the bus here. You tell me.
Ooh.
We got baked potatoes. We got little wiener dogs, and I mean, from a dessert standpoint, I think a good slice of coconut cream pie will really hit the spot at a backyard barbecue. I know it sounds crazy. I mean, you gotta think potato chips, mac and cheese. Those
Yeah.
are some easy picks. I'm trying to think outside the box of what you guys might have picked last week, if that makes sense. Hopefully I really hit the spot with some of these picks.
I mean, I think you nailed it. The only thing left, and if it's going to take a couple minutes because the memory and your thought process and your old age, that's okay. But if you could give me a summer bevy, what's Jerry drinking by the pool?
I mean, for me, I mean, am I allowed to say alcoholic beverages on here? Am I allowed to talk about?
You do you.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely,
what's
yeah.
your summer
Well,
job?
y'all know I'm a Cincinnati Bearcat advocate, and y'all know that I love me some Cincy Light, and I like to support the NIL down there and at Cincinnati. Think Coach Bishel. Shout out to Coach Bishel, Bearcat baseball for a great season. I know it didn't end the way we wanted it to, but some of that Cincy Light, hell, it goes to the good men in the Cincinnati uniforms down in Cincinnati. But Arnold Palmer with
yeah.
sweet tea and lemonade. Little more lemonade than sweet tea. I don't know what you think about that, John. That's probably the non-alcoholic beverage of choice when Cheryl wants me to be sober at the backyard barbecue.
Hey, Jerry, we appreciate your response. I mean, that was the most candid thing that you could have from a Cincinnatian, so we really appreciate that. I'm going to leave you on one thing before you head on out, and it's this. I don't think the Castellinis messed up this year. I think Tito Francona messed up this year because there's been a lot of calls and a lot of scenarios where Tito failed to execute. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't think it's a Castellini problem this year. I think it's more than that.
Yeah. Are you saying that because you want to get sponsored at Great American Ballpark and you don't think you'll be able to because Jerry's bringing the podcast down, or would you say
no? I mean, even
give me some before we get off. We can't just leave on. I mean, what do you mean Tito failed the organization? I want to hear more.
I think there's a lot of scenarios this whole entire year where Tito's lineups, Tito's relief pitching situations, Tito's.
You think the games maybe passed him by a little bit, Kirby?
Yes. I think
I would think having TJ Friedel up here for as long as we did was a Cardinals sin.
I don't think the game's passed him up per se. I think the way he's managing this team, it's not the Guardians. You are not managing the Cleveland Guardians. Guardians have a great farm system. The Guardians have fantastic pitching and relief pitching. We don't. You have to make do with what you have, and I don't think he's doing the correct thing. That's where that's where I'm at.
I get what you're saying. My problem is, and this is why I blame we've been through so many managers over the last few years. You went David Bale, Dusty Baker, Tito. Who was the guy before David Bell? Who was the guy before David Bell between Dusty and David?
Price.
I don't even know the guy's name, but he never really. I mean,
he was the Reds. He was the Reds pitching coach. Yeah, Price. Yeah. Brian Price.
It's always the manager's fault, but the reality is there's just not enough talent on the squad. And then I'll say this to Tito's defense. I mean, John is right. There's been a lot of injuries, so I'm not saying. It's just hard for me to blame Tito.
Jerry. No. Don't you pull this injury stuff now. Jerry. You hear me? Jerry, no injury talk from you. Jerry.
John, get off your high horse, John. You think you can blame injuries for the season, and then you're gonna get on Tito's. He's just a sweet old man. I mean, what do you want you gotta do?
Tito's not a
Tito.
Go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say, Tito is working overtime with all these conversations with sending everyone to Louisville or DFAing, and Homeboy is in his office for 3 extra hours a night saying, I'm sorry, after tonight, you're packing your bags and going to Louisville, and then calling someone up and having the conversation of how excited you are to have him on the team. This man is working not just overtime, double overtime. And the worst part is Mark's metrics had one thing, and one thing that is absolutely going to miss because Arroyo's up to bat. I need Matt McLean to strike out again, and I would have won a lot of money. But instead, he has Noel V. Marte up, and you could see it when I took my phone, went straight to the upper chin to see if there's a cash out option. DraftKings is smarter than that. They know that your boy's lost. Terry Francona is I can't even say it. Are the Madeira middle schoolers still listen to this podcast, Kirby? I have a lot of words right now.
You can't say those words.
I can't say, Jerry, save me right now. I need some help.
I'll step in, Mark.
From me.
I'll step in. Last question I'll ask, then I'll get off. I know you guys are sick of me. Tonight's one of those nights. Me and Cheryl just sitting around the house. I got nothing better to do. But honestly, at the end of the day, has Tito ever lost anywhere outside of Cincinnati? I mean, he's won everywhere he's been, right, Kirby?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple.
But that's what we're gonna end it. I mean, that just explains the Castellinis and the Reds. They just get this energy. He never lost before. Now he loses here.
No, you know what? Nope. I'm going to take everything I said back. He allowed winning to happen in losing organizations. He allowed winning to happen in Boston because they had an unreal roster. He allowed winning in Cleveland because they had an unreal roster. They brought him to Cincinnati without that roster. He's a great manager when you have great players. He's like a Dusty Baker. But the problem is with Cincinnati.
You're only as good, Kirby. You're only as good as what you got. You coach for the Madeira. You coach Madeira baseball, right? I mean, come on, you know.
But
you're only as good as what you got.
At the MLB level, I don't agree with that.
But you can make the argument that Cleveland and Boston, from an organization standpoint,
yeah, I know it's a big jump. It's a big jump, but I'm saying, like, if you were to really look at what Tito was given in Boston, they hired Tito on purpose. They hired Tito.
You all are smart baseball. You all make great points. It's just always comes back to the same thing. It always comes back to the organization has failed the fan base.
Yeah.
They failed the city over and over and over again. And until they prove me wrong, that's where Jerry's going to stand.
Right.
He's going to stand in the negative right now. I apologize that I'm so negative, fellas. It's just, I try and be honest, you know. Maybe we can get the Castellines over to John's house. We can eat some baked beans, some little wieners in the backyard, and then we can have a feast. Maybe feed Tito some coconut cream pie, talk about why he hates Will Benson so much, and then we can go from there.
That was so
objectively
funny. Will Benson hits a game-tying home run in the ninth, and when asked about it, Terry goes, we should be looking for walks. What? I mean, I've never seen such hatred for a player where you're like, damn, he had a game-tying home run. How can I spin zone this into a negative?
All right,
that was crazy.
Jerry, we appreciate you calling in, man. I mean, I thank you for just the care for the Cincinnati Reds and everything that you bring to it. And tell Cheryl we apologize for taking up your time tonight. She's a saint, and she looks over all of us. But Cheryl, shout out to you, and we appreciate you, Jerry.
Jerry, we love you.
Cheryl's here next to me. She said, "Go Reds."
Hey, go Reds, Cheryl. Go Reds.
All right, see you, fellas.
See ya,
Jerry. All right.
I mean, listen, fellas, real quick, we acknowledge this episode went off the rails, and I'm loving it.
It's 52 minutes in.
I started.
If you're still here,
with like 50% on my phone, I'm almost at 10. I'm waiting for the light to go out in my life.
If you're still here, shout out you. Shout out you.
I'm going to be honest. That was the most candid Cincinnati Reds talk, I think, of all time. So I really hope people listen to that 20, 30 minutes.
That was fantastic.
That was fantastic. Yeah. All right, let's get
Jerry,
into
if you're still there, you didn't hop off, brother.
Yeah, Jerry,
you can hang out if you want. Okay.
There he goes. He goes. Listen, if we can even remember what we were speaking about beforehand,
it doesn't matter.
We're in
metrics. It doesn't matter. I wish he hated Matt McClain a little less, because one more strikeout, the strikeout parlay of the game would have been complete. But instead, Matt McClain only has one strikeout. He succeeds for the night. I mean, he even played well. He had
he actually did. He was 1 for 3, wasn't he?
Yeah. Instead, they're going to put Marte in a situation to get one at bat and then sit pine again and again.
I love that we're at the point in the season when we're like, Matt McClain had himself a hell of a game. What did he do? 1 for 3 with a single.
Also biased, still Matt McClain.
I'm a lover. We love you, man.
We love you. All right,
come on, anytime.
Okay, let's just get into it. So real quick, Caps Corner. If you want to dive in, we can make it quick, but
that's what I'm saying. It's not a long conversation, and after the negativity, I mean, I'm feeling negative as well in the aspect of like if the current roster is asked to keep the same amount of injury pace they have, we're going to win under 75 games, and that's fine. But to say theoretically, this moment, snap of the finger, this team becomes just a little bit healthier, which we have the opportunity to do so. You just brought Marte back. You've got Arroyo up here, fresh blood. Hopefully Ellie comes back in 2 weeks. And then Rhett Lauder just started his rehab assignment. I don't think folks realize how big of a hit Rhett Lauder was to this starting pitching staff. You think about his 2 games that he had where he got blown up in Chicago and I believe Pittsburgh as well. I can't remember which 2 it was, but he gave up 11 runs over like 2 innings respectively, what have you.
No, he was awesome.
That was possible injured. Besides that, he had 5 outings of 3 or less run baseball and was fantastic. So if you bring him.
Hey, we lost John.
Yeah, we lost John.
Pause. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
You're back.
You have
Yeah.
Ellie. You have Louder coming back. Marte, you can assume is going to bring at least even a little bit more of a spark. Even that walk he just had is more than Fried was able to give you in the past 3 weeks. Do you think there's anything that can turn around this squad?
Yes. Like, that's the sad part is yes, absolutely. I mean, if Rhett Lauder, if Hunter Green comes back, Ellie comes back healthy, we have a middle of our lineup figured out, absolutely. I mean, guys, we still have 4 months of baseball left. We have 4 months of baseball. Like, we have so much, and we're above 500. If you were to tell me that we were above 500 going into June, I would, like, we talked about this a
Not
million
anymore.
times.
Are we 500 now?
No, I think aren't we 1 game?
Well, Kirby, we were 1 game going into today.
We're
I
500.
They just lost.
God damn. All right. So we're 500. I'm still on the up and up. I will buy the Reds being an above average baseball team. That's where I'm at.
Right now they're average. What's the like threshold of like 5 games below 500 to 5 games above 500? Is that the average? Like where's the tiers going?
The team we have out there right now is like not average. It's bad. Like we have a bad ball club that we have to toss out every night.
Yeah.
What my assumption is, even with just the bolstering of Rhett Lauder coming back, Ellie coming back a little bit healthy, and possibly a little bit of help from Marte, I think that is helpful. Where I guess I'm getting caught up is we are still in dire straits when it comes to the bullpen.
Yeah.
That's where I'm struggling to find the missing piece of how we're going to be able to click it to get to a 85, 86 win season. In my head, honestly, even 500. If the bullpen stays the way it is, and there's a lot of guys in the 60-day, there are a lot of guys closed down right now. Dude, it's tough. You have a few names, quite literally, small percentile that you can be like, they're going to go out there and probably give me good effort and high leverage. And that's scary.
And essentially, I mean, you have Pagan coming back hopefully soonish, right? Like, I don't even know. I don't even have an update on him. Is there an update on him? It doesn't matter. I don't know why I even go down this rabbit hole, but no, I don't know what the solution to fix it is, and it's only getting worse with the injuries and with the progression of time. There's no solutions. There's just more problems being caused, right? So I think that's an issue.
All right, hey, let's dive into Mark's metrics real quick.
Yeah.
Mark, go ahead. We gotta start wrapping this probably up.
I got a plus $9,000 opportunity for you guys.
So when
John,
we said Chipotle,
Where's my phone?
Get the phone.
when we said Chipotle for 2 weeks, this is Chipotle for a year.
This is you log in. Maybe you're not a day-to-day sports bettor. I'm not. I will log in, see what's kind of fun when I watch a Reds game here and there. There's one thing you look at. You see if there's a deposit match up to a certain percentage. You click the button, you hit deposit, you throw in X amount of money. You go and you use one of those bonus bets, and you have a full NFL season of fun with this one. This one, ladies and gentlemen, your Cincinnati Bengals in an Super Bowl rematch against the Los Angeles Rams in Los Angeles. The script is written. This time, Myles Garrett's chasing Joe Burrow instead of Aaron Donald. This time, Joe Burrow makes the play to Jamar Chase. We win the Super Bowl against the Rams in the Rams' house, plus 9,000, $10 to win 900, and $10. John, throw $1 on there.
Boom.
Done.
Boom.
That's it. We're gonna hooday all fall long. So,
Love
that's
it.
Mark's Metrics,
I
brought
love
to you
it.
by Masali Law LLC.
I love Mark's Metrics because it's the most real section of our podcast because the Reds are fake at this point with this ownership.
The plus $6,600 dollar parlay that I had, that was 3 legs. 2 strikeouts, Willie B, check. 2 strikeouts, Salvador Perez, check. 2 strikeouts, Matty McLean, loser. One strikeout away. $20 would have made me a little bit more money than I have at this moment.
That was awesome. That was awesome. All
And
right,
that's full circle.
Mark's metrics.
to you
I
by-
mean, if Masali Law, you got to sponsor this guy more. I mean, he is just day in, day out grinding through those.
We're
different
starving here for some sponsorships.
I mean, it is unreal. Unreal. All right, let's get into the series preview for this weekend. We got a weekend against the Dirty Birds here, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Reds got Singer thrown on Friday against Leahy. Interesting. I'm a little nervous about Friday matchup, and I would love to see your guys' opinions on that. Saturday, we got Lodolo. I'm really actually very, very excited for this Saturday series. I think this might be a get you right type series. And then Sunday, Cap, you can talk more about this, but I think Sunday is actually a precursor to something that's about to happen to our roster. But the worry is that Sunday's game against is one of the best pitchers the Cardinals have, which is McGreevy. So what are your guys' thoughts on all this?
Mark, I'm going to start real quick and I'm going to pass it off to you. We get swept. Mark, take it away.
You took the words out of my mouth, John. I was looking to just buy me some time. The false hope that Brady Singer in a bigger ballpark, maybe he pitches better, I guess. Is the TBD going to be louder? Is that the hope?
Yeah,
Or is that...
It's louder. I'm pretty sure it's louder, yeah.
I'm looking back at just the two games it was just one day that we played the Cardinals a couple weeks ago. Yeah, we're getting swept. That's my prediction. In St. Louis, tarps are off. It's gonna be annoying. I hope I'm so wrong, but I think we're in starting tough. The ship is sinking. I can't even speak. I'm just so frustrated right now.
All right. Well, everybody out there, you've heard it. Not good hopes on what's to come. At the same time though, as a Cincinnati Reds fan, I'll take a win. I'll take whatever you guys give us, because you know why? That's all you're giving us is just hope. So the Castellinis, Tito Francona, the 26-man roster, just show up, because we watch every day. I mean, that's all we're looking for. And at the end of the day, if that's all you want to give us is a 500 ball club, well, gosh darn, I'm still gonna listen. So you guys got us, and I love
Kirby,
it.
this is sad.
It is sad, but at the same time,
this is what they want.
We're begging for one game. We're begging for one game in St. Louis
for a win against.
You know what?
The Cardinals in St. Louis.
Singer no hitter Friday night.
Oh, now we're talking.
Now we're getting swept. All right. Well, hey guys, thanks for listening. We appreciate it like always. Don't forget to check us out on social media at OT Thread Reds on Instagram, X, and any place that you find your podcast. Catch us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast every Monday and Thursday. And of course, we appreciate listening. And like always, go Reds.